YouTube? I'm Brett from Rants. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. We're on the road to 1,000. We hope you guys will help us get there. Alright, so finally, episode 3 of Wandavision has arrived, and I've seen it a few times now. Overall, I thought it was a really good episode. By far, my favorite so far has been episode 2. Not because it revealed a whole lot. Yes, I get it. Had the whole guy with the sword logo that was a beekeeper. But that wasn't... That was interesting, and the whole helicopter in episode 2, but it wasn't why I liked it. I liked it because it was just funny and entertaining. I thought so far episode 1 was the weakest, at least for me. I get it. It has some hints in it, but overall it wasn't as entertaining. But episode 3 really was entertaining, and I guess I was like glued to the television trying to figure out exactly, okay, is this going to be a hint? Like that's one thing I'm actually really enjoying about this show is every conversation, every word and how it's worded, or everything in the background could be a clue to what is going on around them. And that's kind of the brilliance of WandaVision in itself. But overall, let me go ahead and get into it. I thought that the doctor's reference, when he's there at the very beginning of the episode, and he's referencing, after he tells them, the baby's 4 months along, and he's outside with Vision, and he tells Vision, he says that him and his wife are going to Bermuda. Now, the first thing that come in my mind, since there's all these possible links to Mephisto in WandaVision, I thought automatically Bermuda. So you mean like the Bermuda Triangle, like the basically the Devil's Triangle in a lot of ways. Like I thought in the back of my mind, well, okay, is he trying to give a hint about something about Mephisto just right there? That could be a little bit of a stretch, but that's kind of what I thought, because I just thought, okay, that's a weird place to just put out there, just for no reason. Like he could have said, I don't know, California or someplace like that, but he distinctly said Bermuda, and then it corresponds to what he says at the very end of the episode of how these small towns are hard to get out of, kind of like what the Bermuda Triangle would actually be. So I don't know if that was a reference to Mephisto or to the town or to what, but I just thought it was something that I would point out, see if any of y'all maybe thought of the same things. But overall, I mean, the Herb glitching thing, that to me was the most puzzling thing. And I have two theories about it. Two theories. Herb could be glitching out. Like a simulation, and anybody that's ever played a video game knows that, during, any point in time, this can happen to your character. And at that time, Herb looked like he truly was not in control of himself. Now, that said, there's my second theory to that is Herb was trying to break through the wall intentionally as an agent of, I don't know, Sword or agent of Hydra, whatever Herb is, which I'm assuming he's probably not Sword. He's trying to break through the barrier, and but there was some kind of weird look on his face that made it really look like, he was just glitching. But then at the same time, like, nothing is as it seems. Like, the outside world and the world that they're living in inside seems to not always go good together, and it makes what is really happening just seem strange to the onlookers inside. So I can maybe see it as a little bit of both. It's certainly, if he's trying to break into through the wall to get to, I don't know, the children, that would make more sense, because it would make more sense to what him and Agnes were talking about Geraldine at the very end of the episode, about her not having a home, and that that things aren't as they seem, and Herb almost spills the vision, but Agnes stops him. So Agnes is more in control of this reality than what sometimes we think she is, which doesn't really shock me. There was always something about Agnes that just kind of unsettling. But, I guess we'll just have to find out more. But that just perplexed me with the whole Herb cutting through the wall thing. Because I thought, okay, is that a metaphor for him trying to break in? Or is this just him just glitching out, and that's just showing that, hey, this is a simulation? It could go either way. Or it could just be both. It could be looking like a glitch on the inside, but actually on the outside, him trying to break through the wall. That's what I would, if I had to guess, I would actually probably say it's that. Another thing is, the amount of time that these babies are being born, I find to be really strange, because it seems like time is speeding up. And at first I thought, well, it might be, I said in my previous review for episodes 1 and 2 that I thought it might be Wanda skipping, trying to get away from either S.H.I.E.L.D. agents or Mephisto or something along those lines. But now I kind of think that something is speeding up time for a reason, and it's to get these babies. And so, what would normally be, 9 months pregnancy turns out to be, 12 hours worth of pregnancy. So, I mean, there's a reason for this exceeding amount of time that is happening. And it's happening so quickly that it's throwing off Vision. Like, Vision is starting to realize now that, hey, this isn't exactly what it seems. I mean, I will say that was, to me, one of the most heartbreaking moments was this second redo. Because, after he talks to his neighbors outside, he's realizing that things aren't as they seem, that Agnes and Herb aren't what they seem. And then he goes in there and he's heartfelt, and he's trying to go in there and he's trying to talk to Wanda about it, and Wanda's just not, she's realizing that he's catching on, and you can see the look in her eyes like this is getting to be an uncomfortable conversation. And so she just immediately just hits rewind on him again. And I thought that was really sad, because this is a guy that is, well, he's dead. And he's not even realizing he's dead. You don't even realize. I mean, how awful would that be to not even realize that you're dead? I mean, that would literally be a nightmare, to know that there is somebody that's messing with you in such a way, and it's the person that cares the most about you, which I find that to be kind of sinister in a way. I've always wondered, since episode 1, who is Wanda hiding this from more? Is she hiding it more from herself or from Vision? Because it seems like she's not wanting to come to the realization, and she doesn't want him to come to the realization of it, because then it would have to make her have to live in that reality, and she's not wanting to do it. So it's, to me, it's more of not trying to keep it from Vision because of the hard truth that, or the sadness that maybe he would have to endure, but because she don't want him to cause her to have to accept the situation as it is. And that, to me, is it's pretty messed up. That's pretty messed up. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Wanda is so powerful, and I think it shows. I think the thing about the butterflies, her having those butterflies in her stomach, and then that causes her to bring them to life. I think that's a pretty significant thing to happen, because that shows that she can bring what normally wouldn't be living things to life. So if she could do that with butterflies, with these butterflies that are in the little things for the baby, and bring them to life, then she can definitely bring Vision to life. Which to me, that was a little bit telling when that happened. The Hydra soap or soak. I say Hydra soap because in, I think it was Agents of Shield, they had that little moment where they were talking about Hydra has this soap that can kind of alter your mind. It make you not realize that you're in a simulation of sorts. And so when I saw that Hydra soap, the very first thing I thought of, okay, is Wanda maybe in some kind of I don't know, something like covered in this? Is that how they're controlling her? Is that how they're maybe not just trying to control her, but maybe trying to control her powers long enough where that they can get the children? I don't know, but it's weird that they brought up that Hydra soap thing. Another thing that was interesting was, speaking of the water, was her water breaking. That was actually a really funny scene. That was a really funny scene. Kind of disgusting scene. If you really, really think about it, that's definitely not, yeah, I don't even want to think about that. That's really nasty. But it was funny. It just was funny. But in that Hydra soap commercial, there was that scene, well, or it says, letting out, I forget the wording to it, but letting out your inner goddess. And when, after her water broke and it's rained and they're all wet, and then you see Wanda just, drying herself off, like just opening up the windows and the wind just rushing in, and the way she looks and all that. And I'm like, that's kind of like unleashing your inner goddess right there. Like, she's literally controlling the wind. And she's, able to dry her and Vision off just in a second, just by doing that. Like, I thought that was actually kind of pretty amazing. Another thing is the stork. That stork. It was kind of a hilarious scene with her and Geraldine. But, when the stork is like trying to eat the fish off of her pants, that was funny, but it was also pretty telling that Wanda could not control that stork. She could not make that stork disappear for anything, which tells you that out of all the things that she's in control of, like, she can literally reverse time in this situation. She can make these people basically brainwash anybody that's in this reality, but yet she couldn't control that stork. And so it kind of makes me wonder if that stork was actually maybe Mephisto, maybe checking in on the babies. Like that's the only thing I can think of, because I was like, what? Why is that the only thing that she cannot just zap away? Like, and it was so persistent. It was just like it just wasn't going away. Now, a lot of people could say, well, it's just the stork is just the realization that, hey, her babies are coming and there's nothing she can do about it. It could be that, but I just thought it's just the and so that could be maybe the reason why she couldn't get rid of it. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, how is that the case? Because technically, she's the one that did create this in the first place, the reality of having the children. So how could that be that the stork would be the inevitability of it, and that was the reason why she couldn't get rid of it, if she's the one that really created the situation where she was pregnant in the first place. So to me, there's got to be more to this stork than was letting on. Of course, I could just be overly overthinking it, but it was just weird that that was the only thing she hasn't been able to banish so far. Um, Another thing is when when Wanda's having her baby, and Vision goes to get the doctor. They've talked about these last 3 episodes of not letting the townspeople know basically who they are, or finding out their true intentions and things. And then Vision uses super speed, and it isn't even talked about in there. Like the doctor says, well, it felt like they were flying. The doctor doesn't even come to the realization that this is out of the ordinary. Vision and Wanda do not discuss it, that was maybe something that shouldn't happen. And then when, I forget if it was Tommy, or I think it was Tommy that was born first, she tells him, when the other people are in the house, well, don't you want your kids to, tells Vision, don't you want your kid to see his father for who he is, and so he turns to his, normal self. And I thought that was just them taking a chance of outing themselves to the doctor and to Geraldine a little unnecessary, a little haphazardly. Now that could just be nothing, but I just kind of felt like when Wanda is concerned about people finding out about things, then that's when she takes the extra effort. But when she is I don't know how to even put it. When she is when it come to this baby thing, it's like she just like completely just didn't care. It just was odd that was the one moment that she kind of just let down her guard. Which, hey, she was a new mother. Maybe that was the case of it. Or maybe she just feels now that she's so in control of this world that she can take these chances and it not be a problem. As long as Vision isn't the one that is concerned about it. Because if Vision's concerned about it, then he is maybe could break away from her spell. It's just the way I kind of look at it. But yeah, I mean, I go back to that Agnes and Herb conversation. If there's anything that got me to really wondering, and I would love to have known more, I cannot wait until episode 4. That Agnes and Herb conversation was just weird. And I felt so bad for Vision in that moment, because he's realizing that something's just up. Something's up with Geraldine. Something's up with Agnes and Herb. Something's wrong with the whole situation. And he just can't put his finger on it. And this poor guy don't even realize he's dead. And that's just so sad. For some reason, that's just so sad to me. But Geraldine, I do not understand why Geraldine brought up the Pietro thing. She's obviously trying to get close to Wanda. Maybe she thought that as a sword agent, maybe she thought this could somehow break her out of her spell. If I bring up that her brother was killed by Ultron. But she should have known that was going to out her. Or maybe she didn't realize the state of where Wanda was at that moment. Maybe she thought that Wanda would be like, oh my goodness, this is a fake reality, and this has gone too far. What's happening? But Wanda's not there yet. Wanda is still in that mode of, hey, I'm a new mother now. I've got Vision back. I don't need to be reminded of those terrible, terrible things. But it also kind of brings up the question, with Pietro coming up, is why if Wanda is controlling this with Vision and she brought back Vision, why is she not bring back Pietro? If just his name brings back tears to her eyes, why is she not? Why did she not bring him back? So that must, to me, that kind of details that maybe she's not as in control of the situation as maybe she lets on to be. But overall, I mean, I love that Geraldine being thrown out. Like, I thought, okay, that was the kind of a funny scene in a way where, and it told a lot. It actually showed us, hey, what the real world is looking like. There really is a West View. There is, and I guess they're like in some kind of a force field or something, and she just gets shot out of there by Wanda, for basically trying to bring her back to reality. Maybe that's what Geraldine actually thought that she was going to do, was that she was going to maybe try to bring her back to that reality through that. But it didn't work out that way. Wanda's just not there yet. But at least we got to see the world outside of the world that Wanda's created. And that was actually kind of cool. I enjoyed that scene. I'm just looking forward to episode 4. I'm just looking forward to episode 4. So many questions still. I mean, probably my biggest question for episode 3 is, why is Wanda just now realizing about that necklace with Geraldine? Like, she's had it. I don't know why that was something that was, didn't catch her attention immediately. Or maybe it did, and maybe she just passed over it. I think there's a certain part of her that she's under her own little spell as well. So, I mean, that could just very well be that too. But overall, guys, I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a really good episode. I did. I thought it was really good. Really telling. I've now seen it a few times. I enjoyed it. I've watched it with my wife. She didn't really like it, which kind of actually shocked me. I actually thought that this would be one of her favorite episodes, but she really didn't much care for it. It didn't have as much action or comedy, I guess, as she wanted. But overall, I did enjoy it. I cannot wait until episode 4. Maybe, I'm going to go back and watch it a few more times and see if maybe I can find some little more hints, I looked in the background. I looked in a couple other, listened to the dialogue a lot, and I didn't really catch a whole lot. To me, there was some Mephisto sayings in there, like with the whole Bermuda thing, but that could just be me. To me, it even kind of does fit. Now that I say it aloud, it maybe does kind of feel like a little bit of a stretch. But overall, guys, let me know what y'all think about episode 3 of WandaVision. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. And y'all take care.